Alright, here we got the curl. Shh, this is top secret information. I am a man who used to be a world-renowned thief. But I made a gaffe while pulling the final big heist of my career and poof, I became a fiend. This is top secret information, part 2. I died when I fell off the roof of the house I was sneaking into. But it wasn't just any old fall. I mean, certainly, it was a huge job, but oops, I'll have to tell you another time. Ah, so you want to hear the rest of my story, huh? The reason I messed up the heist was because something amazing caught my eye. As I was gliding across the roof, a lady in the next house over was, doing something. You know, she was changing. A great thief can't pass up the chance to see something like that. So I lean over the edge to get a closer look, I slip, and poof, I'm at the far plane entrance. So I made it to the far plane just fine, but I thought to myself, is this really how I want to go out? I'm a world-renowned thief! Becoming a fiend won't slow me down a bit. Now, back to business. You perv. This is one of the most ridiculous fiends tales ever, by the way. If you think the game's kind of fan servicey, this is like a complete mock on that. It's so funny. Interestingly, here on the airship, on the bottom left, you see some crates and stuff you don't ordinarily see in the game. But yeah, I guess the fiends are up with us on the airship, right? General query number 1. What are we thinking about out on this lazy big cat? I love how much they use the sleeping animations as well. Where did these guys hide everything? Yeah, good question. You know, gil, treasure, etc. Oh look, there's a sphere, treasure chest, some bottles, I guess. It's funny to see how they reuse assets. Like, I've never seen a game that so thoroughly reuses assets in a game. You know, tries to take as much advantage of them as possible. General query number 2. Where are these guys doing stuff? Whoa, what kind of stuff are you talking about? You know, like changing clothes? He's thinking about them nude and doing stuff. Oh well. I'll peep as much as I can and take as much as I can get my hands on. Wow. Why have we got him on the airship again? Not the best score, but it'll do. Huh. I guess I'll take it easy until then. I'm not sure I like him very much, guys. Oh, it's Yuna and she looks pissed. Oh, it's Pain and she looks pissed. Oh, it's Riku and she looks pissed. Why are these guys so mad? Does it show on my face or something? Shinra, your thought patterns are being monitored right now. Does not sound like Shinra. What? No way! Yeah, how do you think we're even communicating with you, bro? You silly, silly, silly cat. I'm so sorry. Riku says, too bad I didn't set our sphere order to record the Luca broadcast. Why? You don't have TiVo? Pain says, as long as she enjoys being bossed around, I guess it's okay. It's like Yuna's being bossed around by us, the player. Alright, so let's talk about the arena. I've already shown you guys a good deal of this other stuff. Name creature's pretty obvious. Develop creature, by the way, this may as well just say press triangle, because when you press this, it just takes you to the normal game menu, so you can sort your party members out and stuff. That's all that means. Let's check out the arena. Fight other creature teams at the arena. Now, you can participate in the arena with Yuna, Riku, and Pain just like normal. However, because when you capture new fiends, they come in at your girl's average level. If you keep your girl's level low, then it's easier to level fiends and get their stories done. So most people recommend you don't do the arena with Yuna, Riku, and Pain. But it's totally up to you if you want to. So we now get this menu. This is the arena menu. Organized team is basically the same as that other thing I just talked to you guys about. It basically means press triangle. It takes us into the menu. So let's organize our team. We're going to come down here to party members, and we're going to decide who we want to fight with. Do we want to fight with Elmer, Yibel, and Lulu, our three, like, characters? Or do we want to maybe fight with some fiends? I want to show you guys the fiends. We've got the flame dragon, who is large size, so he'll be the only one in our team if we try and fight with him. I'm not going to bother with him, but instead, let's see what happens if we throw the chocobo in the team. If we throw, yeah, the haze. The haze will be kind of fun to talk about. He's kind of a spellcasty type dude. And what if we throw the killer hound in the team? So these three, you'll notice already, before we've equipped them with anything, they all have different stats. The chocobo has got more health, less MP. The haze has more of both. And the hound has very, very little MP, but almost the same amount of health as the haze. So there's already distinctions, the abilities they learn and stuff. There are distinctions between fiends. However, let's give them their equipment now too. So we're going to come up here and we're going to go equip on the chocobo. Now, first choice here is to give him a garment grid. The original one gives you cure so that they can keep themselves alive. Heart Reborn, which we got at the end of Chapter 1 in the Xanakin stuff, gives them the ability to use life, though. And having one of your fiends that can resurrect his allies is huge. So I'm going to give that to the chocobo, because he tends to be quite quick. And we're going to put the chocobo also onto the thief garment grid, which will also allow him to mug stuff and send his agility through the roof, which is great on the chocobo. Then we get a choice of 2 accessories. And I already have quite a few cool accessories from doing this in Chapter 1. So, for example, these titanium bangles, we have 9 of them. Increases his max health by a fair amount, so we'll give him that. And then what we'll do as well is we'll give him something to improve his strength a significant amount. The hyper wrist here raises strength by 30, which is really cool. But I think Payne's got that equipped, so we'll put the muscle belt on him. For the haze, I'm actually going to make him a black mage. We'll have him on an unwavering guard so he can use Curaga. And the other 2 accessories I'll give him are a crystal ball and a silver bracer. So 40% more MP and magic plus 50. So this is pretty nice. It will make his special ability there called Distortion Wave a lot stronger. I do have some other accessories I could equip that would make him insanely overpowered, but I'm not going to go that far. I think that's probably a bad idea. Lastly, we've got the Killer Hound. Wristband's probably a good idea there. And another titanium bangle, and we'll stick him on Thief as well. So that seems pretty good to me. Now, there is also the creature menu. I'll talk to you guys more about this later, but this can allow you to feed your fiends and not just equip them with stuff. So, for example, Chocobo here, we can feed him an accessory, a titanium bangle, since we already have 7, right? And this will raise his max health by even further, but permanently. Until we release the fiend, it will be like a permanent buff this chocobo now gets. So we could do that. Use 1 titanium bangle to raise the HP by 25. Okay, so it's not percentage based, it's just a little bit more. But this is something you can do to just make your fiends even more powerful, right? You can push them to their absolute limits. And then the variation in the fiends comes from their innate abilities, attack animation speed, stuff like that. But just to demonstrate how I'll feed him 1, you can even feed him a wristband and use 2 of them to learn a new ability, Power Break. We'll talk more about that later. But lastly, there's also this thing here called Unlearn, which allows you to forget abilities you don't want them to use. So I don't really want the Haze pissing about using Absorb, so I'm going to make him forget how to use Absorb. I don't really want him attacking either, since I've given him all this magic stuff, so I'm going to tell him to forget that. Now, he might relearn how to do that in a battle in the arena in a second, but this at least ensures for a little while he'll use what we want him to use. The less abilities a Fiend uses, the more likely you can be that it will actually use it smartly, right? Because their AI only gets better as they level up. Alright, so now we have a choice. Do we want to enter a tournament or simply go to the battle simulator? What I'll do here is I'll take us into the battle simulator first. And the battle simulator basically just allows us to do one-time fights with other enemy fiends. So we have our fiend team, the Chocobo, the Haze, and the Killer Hound. Well, what about these ones? So there's a whole bunch here you'll see already. Now, as you capture fiends around Spira and release them, different fiend teams will join the arena. So, let's see if I can find one that maybe you guys will recognize. So, I think it might be this one here. You'll see on the second page. So, this is page 1. There are 9 pages of these. Over here on page 2, there's this group here called Moonfang. Now, do you remember that fiend story where they had the 2 wolves that were on gagazette and they were both brothers and they released one from like a giant block of ice? When they got released and, you know, returned to explore Spira, if you remember, that tale didn't end with them getting sent or anything. And when I first got that, a pop-up came up on the screen that said, these guys, the awesome brothers or whatever, have now joined the Fiend Arena, so they have become opponents. So you can unlock more opponents by pushing further in the story and completing certain Fiend tales. And that's why the Fiends I've currently got, the Chocobo and stuff, they're all kind of special in their own way, which I'll show you guys in a future episode. But there's loads of pages of these in the arena, as you can see here. This is page 3, we don't have any. Page 4, we don't have any. 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. There are, even in the arena, through places like this, new mega bosses in the game. Think about stuff like Penance, like the Dark Aeons from the previous game. International added more stuff like that for X2, and they will appear in places like this. For now, let's just fight one of them. Let's do the Moonfang. And this can be good practice for the actual tournaments themselves, which is a whole other branch of the arena. So we go, we got Preemptive Strike. I'm going to max out my stars. We're going to go crazy. One of them has oversold. The Haze is casting ability, probably a Shockwave. He's learned attack because he's getting attacked. That's fine though. Hopefully he won't continue to do that. He's about to finish casting his spell. These guys are unloading a lot of damage. The Chocobo's almost dead. I went down to 1 star to try and handle it. The Chocobo is now casting an ability, probably trying to cast Cura on himself to get himself back in the game. The guy missed, which is great because we were on 1 star. Oh no, he's cast Life. Why did he cast Life? Okay, it's because the Fiends are stupid right now. However, we are still continuing to attack. Oh, these guys are a fair bit harder than I was expecting. Man, there's the Distortion Wave. Ah, and he killed 2 at once, which was brilliant. Imagine if I'd moved the stars up even further. We'd probably be okay. There's the Cure on Chocobo, just as he took a hit, which is great. So we can go back out to max stars now. Start doing a ton of damage. You'll notice the Chocobo cleaved with his attack there, which was fantastic. Another ability coming from the Haze, which you should be casting in just a second. The Killer Hound keeps mugging like a dummy. Wow, he wasted that on a Curaga, but whatever. Obviously, these enemies have no items left to steal, but we got the final attack, and we won. Without any deaths, which was very close. But there you go. That's kind of the way many of these little battles can work. Obviously, we're playing with peanuts right now, okay? A lot of this stuff's pretty easy. But you'll notice they all have difficulty ratings, too. So we've got Forest Watch. If you remember a while ago... Actually, no, that's not the one. If you remember, one of the Fiend Tales had a... Let's fight the Squishy Brothers, I suppose. Which is 3 Fiends. No, I don't really fancy my odds against them either. Let's go against the Shell Squad. If you remember, one of the Fiend Tales had an evil eye who washed his face in a gel, an amorphous gel. Well, I think those guys end up joining the arena as well. Stuff like that, you know, little combinations. And so far, we're doing okay. Chocobo, for what it's worth, is actually one of the best Fiends in the game to level with. There are different kinds of Fiends, you know, that you can rate them. There are really bad ones. A lot of the large ones you can really struggle with. Some of them are really good for leveling. Some of them are insanely overpowered, can nuke some of the hardest bosses in the game in seconds, but they're terrible until you stat cap them and stuff, right? So, you know, there's a lot of variety, and this is just showing you guys a little bit of it. I guess we will do a tournament sometime next episode, and we'll see how that works. Doing a tournament will unlock us a new class and an incredibly powerful new garment grid, just for finishing the first one. I can't wait to show you guys, but we'll have to wait. Alright, hello everybody. I anticipate that'll be a bit of a weird cut, but hello everyone. I've only just sat down to start recording. Everything you've seen in this episode so far was the end of the last session I did. I've currently been up all night. It's currently 8 AM and I haven't slept yet, but I wanted to play some X-2. So we're getting on with it. I've got a bunch of weird little things I want to talk to you guys about today. Weird things that I've wanted to mention for ages. Every single time we have seen Nuge in this playthrough, I have wanted to tell you guys that the voice actor for Nuge is the same as the guy who did the voice acting for Sephiroth in, it wasn't the original 7. I don't think he had any voice acting in the original 7, of course. But I think maybe Advent Children. Same guy, kind of an interesting thought. Anyway, so today we're going to be going to 2 areas, as we seem to be doing in these videos. We're going to go back to the Gagazette for a brief moment to give the Ronso the correct answers that they're looking for. Here you can see all 3 of us are actually ready in our goon suits now on this file. I went ahead and did that off screen. Riku said we totally knocked their socks off, and Payne said I guess it was worth getting covered in sand after all. Maybe we already saw those. Let's go and have a look here and check out what's going on at Gagazette. After Gagazette, I think I want to show you guys the Thunderplane stuff, because it's kind of a cool little thing that we'll be dealing there, and it also demonstrates a bit of a branch in the story, depending on how you treated Sid at the Zanarkand Ruins in Chapter 1. Remember, we had 2 choices. Were we nice to Sid, or were we mean to him? Now, if you're mean to him, which is what happened on this file, he'll leave the Zanarkand Ruins, and we'll meet him again this chapter. Anyway, I'm jumping the gun. Let's go to Mount Gagazette. The mission's already complete. We got a Syndicate uniform. Feeling like checking out the hot springs is the description. That's not really what we want to do. What we want to do is come and talk to the Ronso And again, we're trying to get them on board, right? We don't want them angry or anything, no, especially with us. If we want to influence them in a good way, we want to seem like we're talking sense to them. I was so scared there for a second. It looked like all the Ronso were gone except for these two, because obviously I didn't do this on my first trip. Anyway, so here's the lady who's trying to, you know, get all over Kimahri and lather him with her presence so that she'll make him, I don't know, Ronso tribe leader. Anyway, so worry is great burden on Elder's shoulders. And we can say, yeah, he does seem really tired. You can tell her, you know, you should help Kimahri, tell her to be a bit forceful about it. Or we can say, yeah, of course he is, he's the elder. The correct answer here is he does seem very tired. So she says, Yuna see it too. Yes, Elder Kimahri, very tired. Would say who's very tired today as well.
Ronso youth filled with anger, hate Guado. Kimahri must stop fight, but Kimahri not wise enough.
And here we have stop them by force if you have to. You have to figure this out on your own, or why not just leave them alone? We're going to tell him once again that he has to figure this out on his own. I believe this is correct. I'm actually going on instinct here because my guide doesn't tell me exactly what I should say, but I'm pretty sure this is the one.
Kimahri agree with Yuna. Elder who rely on other, not worthy.
Yeah, you're damn right.
I didn't mean it that way, Kimahri.
Kimahri thank Yuna. Burden of Elder lighter now.
I quite like this because it seems so weird for us. Like, it doesn't seem like the right response, but because they're such an alien culture, you know, he appreciates it, and I kind of like that. It really plays into it. You know, a lot of the time, people invent fantasy races that look very different on the surface, but ultimately you sway their opinions, or the overall themes are, hey, you should just conform to human way of thinking, right? And here they're kind of staunchly against that, which I quite like. Anyway, so this big guy here, Albert too suffer at the hands of the Guado. Guado is source of much chaos. You remember this guy from a previous episode, and we're going to agree with him. We're going to say maybe the Guado really are to blame. He says people in all spirit despise Guado. Maybe, and he'll just repeat that dialogue. Let's work our way around here. This lovely lady says, Guado must die for Ronso future. And this is the one where I guess it's not so obvious. We have to tell her basically that this is a bit too aggressive, right? So we can say, and what of the Guado? What future will that bring? Or you have to cool off and think. It seems quite clear we don't want to say the top one. But what about these two? I feel like the bottom option is slightly more conversational. And maybe could be the best, but that is not what we're supposed to say. If you say, what future will that bring? It won't change your score at all. You want to go for, and what of the Guado? And she responds by telling us, all Guado do is bad. Ronso know this. Very racist.
Ronso youth grow strong, destroy hated Guado. Garrick swear to mountain. Garrick avenge murdered Ronso.
You know, it is kind of sad, this idea of avenging. I mentioned in a previous episode that I wondered where the Maester had gone. I've wondered where a fair few people have gone. And though it is not explicitly stated, the idea is basically if there was a Ronso in the previous game you can't find in this game, they're dead. And it's one of those rare occasions, actually. I don't think this is a big spoiler to talk about, but one of these really rare occasions where a really prominent main character who is not explicitly an enemy of ours actually dies. The funny thing about 10 compared to other Final Fantasy games, and 10-2 is a slight exception to this, which I'll talk about later, but the thing about 10 is, you know, you get 7 people in your party, big, strong allies of yours. We all make it through alive, sort of. I mean, at the end of the game, you can say, right, Auron and Tidus are now dead, or, you know, this game's version of dead, which is true, but in other Final Fantasies, you know, there's a lot more death and a lot more splitting up. And even in X-2, it can be kinda like that, but through some obscure means, you can get very big main characters killed, which I'll talk about when we get there in our Chaos world. And the main way you want to prevent some of that is through appeasing these guys. So what do we want to say to Garrick? Have you talked with Kimahri about this? What if the Guado retaliate? Or that won't make anyone happy? None of these seem like obvious answers. Take a second to think about what you would say. And the correct answer here is, what if the Guado retaliate? So it's almost like we're agreeing with what he says. We're just musing about the, you know, what could happen in future.
Garrick hope so. Then Guado learn of strength, mountain give Ronso.
Right, so he just wants the bloodshed.
But if that happens, the fighting will never end.
Ronso fight until end.
Interesting. It's very hard to win against Garrick, as you can see, but that is the answer.
Garrick hear mountain wind, scream with grief. Wind cry for Ronso vengeance.
I almost expected Yuna to respond again there. Interestingly enough, she didn't. This guy over here, I almost missed him. He says, Garrick will march. Fight Ronso enemies. Fight Guado. And we can say, can you think of nothing but fighting? Please try to think about it some more, or will that make you satisfied? The best answer here is a little bit more confrontational. It's please try to think about it some more. He says, already talk it over with Garrick many times. Yeah, well, talk it over with me some more, eh? Okay, he's not saying anything. Let's not forget this dude over here, and of course the other one in a completely different area of Gagazette, once again, can catch you out if you're not careful. Elder is weakling. Garrick moved too slow. Guado will escape us. They have to think everything through. Then there won't be anyone left to fight, or there's nothing we can do about it. The correct answer here is then there won't be anyone left to fight. Guado not escape. They might. So right, we're done with those guys. Hit the pad. And head back up into the mountain cave, the Faith Scar. I would have done this all in one loop if we hadn't done, like, the Chaos File first. Chaos File? Dark World? I don't know. I feel kind of stupid calling it a Chaos File. Whatever. We've just sort of settled into it, so there you go. Up here at the cave, as you can see, this guy. He says, many people come to Sacred Mountain. Uninvited sphere hunters are problem. Oh, no, 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 no! I accidentally skipped through. No! I picked the top option. Ah, and that was not the correct answer. I'm going to have to reload that save now. God damn it. Oh, painful stuff. Alright, guys, I'll see you in a second once we've re-entered all of these inputs. Alright, we're back. Well, aside from the ridiculously long loading screens, you'd be surprised how quickly I managed to get back here. Alright, so let's try this again. Many people come to Sacred Mountain uninvited. Sphere hunters are problem. Then you want to press X, and you only want to press X once. There we go. The messages will come up. They're searching for the mountain secrets. They should take better care of the mountain, or that's the way things are now. This one's pretty obvious here. It should be that they should take better care of the mountain. And we can say that and be hypocrites despite the fact we just bathed in that hot spring up there, but shh, that'll be our little secret, okay? Sacred Mountain Gagazette is life of Ronso. Defile Gagazette, defile Ronso. And he says go down through the cave to reach the Faith Scar as ever. So there we go. That's the stuff with the Ronso done. This is only meant to be a very slight jaunty here. What I'd like to do now is head up onto the airship and let's have a little chat with our guests on board, shall we? Awaka, Klasko, see what's going on with them. Klasko in particular, I'm a little bit curious about right now because I'm not 100% sure on when certain events happen. So I'm kind of excited to see what does go on. Also, I'm kind of excited to see what it looks like when we go in the cabin just as a goon. It's been so long since I've even done this. Let's have a look. I do also want to make sure, even though I'm 99.9999% sure that it works anyway, I rested right at the start of this chapter, like immediately after we got back from Kilika and stole the Awesome Sphere. And technically that was chapter 2, but there is a very tiny part of me that's a little bit worried that that won't count as me resting the cabin, so I just want to do that too. Before we talk to Awaka, let's ask Barkeep if we can rest. We'll have a little bit of a snoozy-woozy. Very jealous of you right now, Yuna. I swear, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and look at this record and be like, wow, I should not record LPs when I'm super tired. Just tell. Alright, so, we've rested, and Klasko's still down here. And he just says, why won't the room stop shaking? Okay, that's fine. Alright, so I know exactly when he's going to change. So nothing's going on with him. But with Awaka down here...
Welcome to Awaka's.
What say we help the poor guy out? Now, you'll notice there, he had over 100,000 gil debt. And that's because when you do a New Game Plus, various things carry over. I've described to you guys many of them already. Items, dress spheres, abilities. The Gunner's Gauntlet high score will carry over. But so will Awaka's current debt, and they'll add 1,000 gil onto it. It's kind of a weird, arbitrary mechanic, to be honest, because just doing a single new game, even skipping everything as I did, you end up with 300,000 gil. It's like adding just 1,000 gil because you're on a New Game Plus does not outweigh the immense pool of gold you've acquired anyway. But whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay off his debts here, basically all in one. And it's not just a handout to him in this game. It's actually you're buying stuff from him. So we can buy a bunch of holy waters here. We can buy... Oh no, we're maxed on high potions. Okay, fine. We can buy a bunch of Phoenix Downs, basically just 99 out all of our items, and that will drop our gil down a substantial amount, but also his debt, and that's going to be the important thing. Now, there is sort of an infinite gil trick in this game, because as you pay Awaka and bring his debt down, he starts selling you stuff for cheaper. And there you go, his debt's now at 70,000. And what you can do is come over to Barkeep, who is also a store. Okay, don't forget, Owaka is totally optional. So in many playthroughs, you will find that this is the only store you have. Just we have the luxury of having 2, but that's not necessarily the only way the game can go. And now what we can do is just sell all this junk back to Barkeep. And it might seem a bit silly, and right now we're definitely not going to get a return on our investment. But in this way, we are trading gil, basically, from one guy to the other. I don't want to sell those. We can sell all of these generic things here, though. And as you continue doing this, you will reach a point where... So currently we get 12 gil from Barkeep selling, like, eye drops and stuff. Okay, 12. And we spend more than that buying it on Owaka.
You know where a bloke can make some gil, do ye?
Yeah, you can make it right off of me, sort of. So here, we're spending 49. But you go far enough, you get his debt low enough, and all of a sudden you can make a serious mint. The thing is, though, that really you only have an opportunity to do this like infinite gil kind of thing early on in the game. Because later on in the game, such as now, once you've paid off his gil, his debt, things will start being set in motion. So there he's got 4,000 debt now. It's really not very much. No, I didn't mean to sleep. Oh, this bartering has been so costly on us, guys. What a long day of trading. I'll tell you what, I've been looking loads into the Oblivion modding scene again lately, and the game looks so dated and old, and I really don't want to play it, but I have such an intense nostalgia for that game. One of the old mods I used to run on it was like this dynamic kind of trading system where every merchant of Tamriel would actually have a set amount of gold that went through the economy. And this just reminds me a little bit of that. Anyway, we were supposed to be selling there, not buying. You could just do the high potion thing. Obviously, it's a lot more money, a lot quicker. But I guess just high potions and regular potions should be enough. And now, with that done, Owaka, we should be able to pay off his debt. Easily we should be able to. So we'll buy another 99 high potions from him. And 99 potions, why not?
Now I can finally go back to me shop.
Lovely.
So long. Thanks for everything. Not exactly a proper thanks now, is it? I think I'll keep doing business here for a bit. At a tremendous discount, of course.
Okay, alright, so I was wrong. I actually thought that he would immediately leave because we're in chapter 2.
You don't happen to know where a bloke can make some...
But I guess he's staying, and yeah, he's got a good point. So now look at how little you can buy the stuff from him for. So here's how it works. Softs cost 5 gil, right? So I could buy 99 softs from Owaka, come immediately over to Barkeep. We're really ripping Barkeep off here. Hold on, Barkeep.
What?
God, why am I struggling with the UI so much? Then we can sell those same eye drops for 12. So here, let's see in progress. We get 1,188 gil for selling all of those. We may as well sell all these high potions as well. We're at it. There we go. And we got what was that, like 12,000 gil? Now we'll come over here.
You don't happen to know where a...
And we can buy all of the eye drops back for just 495 gil. And you just do this over and over and over and over. And there, my friends, you have the infinite gil trick of Final Fantasy X-2 for as long as Owaka is on board. So it is limited, but ultimately, if you really enjoyed the grind, you could just do this for hours and hours and hours, just with high potions if you wanted to really speed things up. And you can just keep earning money like this. I have no need to do this. I don't want to ruin the game by doing this. And this might seem ridiculous to you guys, and in some ways it is. But I think you have to sometimes put these things in perspective of the franchise in general, and Final Fantasy games are well known for having some kind of exploity gil bug, whether it be by design or whatever. They're in most of the games. I mentioned this back when we were playing Final Fantasy X. It is a rarity. It is an odd exception to the rule that Final Fantasy X has like such an airtight gil system that can't be abused in any way. So what we'll do is we'll push ourselves back up to 99 of each of these now. And we'll be done. So yeah, I mean, that's one quality of 10 that really the other Final Fantasies can lack. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure on the games. Even 12, I can't really remember there being an infinite gil trick in, though I'm sure if you look close enough. 12 is such a massive game, I'm sure there's something somewhere that lets you get gil very, very easily. But this is the one in X-2, and it's pretty blatant. Only available through chapters 1 and 2. For as long as Owaka will stay on board. Classco's not really doing anything right now, but that's fine. Let's head back up to the deck. Oh no, not the deck. We want to go to the engine room. Alright, classic enemy here, the bomb. What possible story could the bomb be about? Something to do with explosions, I would predict. Hey, do you like Blitzball? What team? I'm a fan of the Besaid Aurochs. They used to not be that good, but these days they're championship contenders. Yeah, the Lucagoers are a good team, but you should keep your eye on the Aurochs too. I mean, once we joined the Aurochs, the Goers won't stand a chance. That's right, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a Blitzball. Cut, that's it, that's the line. That's the line from Killiker in the previous game. Player. With the Aurochs, of course. Interesting. Maybe this is like the Fiend version of that kid. Wouldn't that be sad in Killiker? Did you see Captain Walker's retirement match 2 years ago? That's when we decided to be players. Oh, I actually have this partner who I team very well with. We would practice on Besaid's beaches until dusk. We vowed to join the Aurochs together. I wonder how he's doing. I mean, I'm a Fiend now, but I hope he's still training. He was real shy, you know? He wasn't good at mingling, so he'd just stand all around by himself. So I went over to him and I said, let's blitz! I mean, we were just sort of pretend playing, but when he shot the ball, everybody just watched in awe. When he tries, he's real good, you know? After that, he and I became the golden duo. No one in Besaid was able to stop us. One time, we even scored a goal off on keeper. Hey, I heard my old partner hasn't been practicing lately. He's always just staring out at the ocean. I guess he can't get into a groove without me around. Well then, I guess it's time for a golden duo reunion. Well, if he recognizes you, let's do it. Oh, I love the Besaid music. I almost don't want to talk through this Fiend Tale just so you can listen to it. The Aurochs in their classic position on the beach. You don't actually see this in X-2 that much. They're usually training elsewhere or doing other stuff. This is the kid? I guess this is his partner. Hey! What's with the long face, huh? You're slacking off during training again. How do you expect to ever join the Aurochs if you keep slacking off? Now get up! Time to train it. But my friend wandered off somewhere. Ugh, fine. Here. Now we see one of the more mysterious powers of the Fiends. I'm back. He turns into a Blitzball. When I grow up, I want to be a Blitzball. Come on, this has to be like a reference. Now kick hard. I mean, it's international content, so they have enough time. They have the whole release of X2 to like realize that a meme of sorts has caught on. Okay, says the kid. And I mean, this is kind of scary. He's about to kick a bomb. This could have a really tragic ending. Oh god, here we go. The fearsome twosome are back, right? Where? Were you? Nice shot. I think it's almost a trick having the Fiend there do that for him. One awesome thing about that shot, so it says the boy would one day perfect the burning shot and lead the Besaid Aurochs to a championship. One thing really awesome about that final shot, maybe it says, is it zooms the camera out really far of Besaid, probably further than you ever see elsewhere in the game. So you can really see almost the whole island, or at least the amount that they actually have rendered in-game. It's kind of cool, but you only see it for a split second and the bomb takes up a lot of the screen. Anyway, cool little Fiend Tale.